After the incredible success of Resident Evil Requiem and Monster Hunter Stories comes a new IP from Capcom, Pragmata. But is this one worth your time? Let's find out.
We're a team, right?
A whole new life. If you're ready.
Okay, then let's go. Together.
Hello everybody, my name is Warwick and welcome to Warwick Reviews. Hope you're doing well. Today we're going to be checking out a very cool game from Capcom called Pragmata, and I do want to start off by saying thank you so much to Capcom Europe for the review code. I really appreciate that. And what we're going to do today, as we always do in my reviews, is check out the game, talk about what it's all about, and if it's worth your time. But before we do that, hi, hope you're doing well. Again, my name is Warwick, and I don't just do reviews here, although you will find many here, including some previews of Pragmata, reviews of Resident Evil Requiem, and many more. But you'll also find me on Twitch, probably streaming this game on twitch.tv/Warwick, and various social media maybe. But like I said, we're going to review Pragmata, so let's dive in. So Pragmata finds you playing as the astronaut Hugh Williams, where you start off basically investigating this lunar research station and seeing what's going about. People disappeared and you're there to try to basically fix things. And as we know with most games, things don't always go right and things seem to go wrong very quickly. And so it throws you straight in playing as Hugh and basically learning about what's going on, but also learning about the game. So this is where the tutorial starts, basically sort of moving and the mechanics of this game. And it's very important with this because, as you've probably seen in previews or even my preview, this has a unique mechanic with the hacking system. So this introduces an android girl called Diana, who with the help can actually hack machines in these AI controlled enemies with the help of Hugh with his gun, with his weapons. And it brings this element of the shooting side of things. So if you're used to like Resident Evil with the RE engine, you sort of get that side, but you have this hacking mechanic to it. And so you use that to utilize your skills to sort of break through shields and increase damage to help you survive. So you learn about that. I will say it can seem quite complicated at first, especially watching it, but playing it, it really works. It really fits into the world. Like, it gives you time to think about it, like explain what it is, how it works. And so I was playing with controller, reckoning with controller, and use sort of the lettered buttons, so like the A's and B's and stuff, to sort of move the cursor in the hacking element while you're shooting. And again, might seem a bit complicated at first, but you pick up very quickly, and before you know it, you are whizzing away, shooting, hacking to your heart's content. So that brings it straight in. So you're very much learning about the game straight away, and then with that you're learning more about mechanics, different components to it. So with the hacking, it's not just about attacking the enemies, but also sort of hacking doors, elements, get you past through games, interacting with the environments. But also throughout the game, or later on in the game, you come to sort of this hub area, which you'll be visiting many times throughout the game, throughout your playthrough, where this is sort of where your sort of one and done shop, where you can find all your resources and upgrades and everything else here. So you start off here. This is where you can re-heal, you can increase your health, Diana's sort of hacking abilities. There's also elements where you can have sort of like these modulars where they sort of give you extra abilities, and depending on what sort of slots available you can have different abilities. So like, for example, there might be one that gives you extra damage if you're at a certain health, so you can add that, or gives you more resources, so you can sort of chop and change, and sort of with the points, or with the loot that's dropped by the enemies, that will give you basically like a currency in game to be able to purchase these sort of modulars to increase your stats and skills. Also with that, you also have these little mascots of this robot that you meet in the hub, and these are scattered throughout the game, similar to like Resident Evil with the raccoons, where you can shoot them and you collect them and you can sort of have them displayed in your hub. Also with that, there's a lot here, by the way. With this as well, with Diana, this is where you can also interact with her. So you can speak to her. There are dialogue trees, and you sort of speak to her, sort of learn more about what she is, who she is, about what's going on, and sort of build a relationship with Diana. And you are rewarded with that. So there are certain elements where if you speak enough times or interact enough times, that she will start giving you drawings to sort of say, thank you very much for talking to me. And they change as you interact more, which I thought was really, really sweet. And also with that, part of that is you collect these items throughout the world. So these parts of Earth, basically. So Diana is an android, doesn't really know of Earth outside of what she's been, where she is at the moment. So there are certain points in the game where you can collect these sort of snapshots of Earth. So like a globe, for example, or like a slide, and you can collect these, and these are rematerialized in the hub where Diana can actually interact with them. And it's a very sweet moment with the different sort of bits that you find, which I thought was very cool. And as I said, with this sort of the robot that you meet, they actually are sort of part of the hub, and they give you other things. So there's like these coins, and you can like a bingo card that you can collect extra goodies. And there's even like a training section, which reminded me of Metal Gear with the VR missions. Very much like training, sort of like separate. So if you want to do a bit of skills and sort of test yourself and get some extra goodies, you can do that. So there's a lot here, which is really, really cool. And I will say you will find yourself visiting here a lot of times, and you can visit it at many points throughout the game. You know, throughout sort of each section, there are many points where you can go back, reset, refocus, and then carry on. So you got that element with that. And then, as I said, throughout the game, you are learning more about the world, more about the mechanics. So as you progress, you are learning more about how the hacking works, more options with the hacking. So there are certain nodes that you can pick up, which gives you even better abilities and how you use them. So utilize them to your advantage, to your sort of battles. So there might be some where one hack, for example, will attack many enemies at one time. So you may want to use that at certain points throughout when you're fighting enemies. So you got all that there. And you're sort of learning more about the world as you go. So with Diana and sort of Hugh, trying to find out what's going on. You sort of both sort of fish out of water type thing. You don't really know what's going on. Trying to figure out the answers and hopefully trying to survive as well. With the settings, I won't go too deeply in the settings, but I will say with Capcom, they've really knocked it out of the park again. I love what they do with the options. The fact is that they show examples of how these options will look like, which is amazing, or at least explains it. So when you change certain settings, it will show you like, okay, this is what is going to change. And that's great because again, and I say this before in other reviews, is sometimes, especially with like captions and stuff, you don't know how big or small their idea of big or small is. So actually seeing it visualized and how it looks with the colors and stuff is great. And they have these accessibility options, which are really nice. And overall, a really, really thorough work with the settings, which was great to see. And yeah, and that's basically sort of rundown of Pragmata. I don't want to spend too much time talking about it because I think it's a game that I want people to experience for the first time. So I won't go to sort of stories and stuff. Very much just a very basic with Hugh and Diana. But what did I think? I absolutely loved it. I had so much fun with this game. This has been a game that's been on my radar for a very long time. If you've followed my content, you know that I've had a lot of opportunities with this game. Checked it out at Gamescom for the first time, better check it out in previews, and it's lived up to expectation and then some. I had an incredible time, fantastic game. I played this on Nintendo Switch 2, and this is all the footage you saw is from that console from my recording, and it handled very, very well. Even with multiple enemies at one time, I did not notice any noticeable drops in sort of quality. There will be some sort of quality downgrades compared to like PlayStation 5 or PC, but that is expected with the Nintendo Switch 2. But generally, as I said, Resident Evil Requiem, if you picked up this version, you will not be disappointed in how it looks or how it feels. And the fact is, having the opportunity to play this on a Switch 2 with portable mode as well is an incredible plus, which I think a lot of people will check out. But yeah, incredible game, really fun. Again, with the hacking, it does sound complicated at first, especially not played it, but it just works so well. It really just, it flew by with sort of the hacking and the shooting. And before I knew it, I was just flying around, utilizing all the skills and stuff, finding myself, you know, interacting with Diana, learning about her, wanting to know more about her, invested in the story, figuring out what's going on and if we're going to figure out and get these answers. And just, I'm so excited for people to check this out. Capcom has got an absolute hit on their hands, and I cannot wait for people to check it out. But yes, thank you very much for listening. I appreciate it very, very much. Again, a huge shout out to Capcom for the review code. I really appreciate that. And thank you for listening and watching, and or either way how you ingesting this content. I do really appreciate that. Again, my name is Warwick. I don't just do reviews. I also stream on Twitch, which is twitch.tv/Warwick. And you can find me on various socials where you may be. But thank you so much for watching. Please take care, and we'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.